Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is me without my makeup on, and I have a lot of sun damage, as you can see. Um, Probably some of it is genetic as well. I have my dad's skin, and so sometimes when you have a lot of melanin in your skin, there's a lot of pigment that comes to the surface after years of exposure. And so, I was one of those girls that in the 80s and 90s that loved spending time in the sun without sunscreen, and I still love spending time in the sun, but I do it differently now. So wanted to just show you how I apply my makeup. It covers everything up. I've got a little bit of drier skin as well, and so I use a luminous foundation so that it also gives me like a little bit of a glow, and I don't look like I'm about to crack open all the time. So I'm gonna start with my foundation primer, and yes, I am almost out. Luckily, I have a stock of products, so I don't have to go very far to get my supplies. So just rub it between your fingers. I take it out and all over, even in an upward motion, because basically what this does is it helps to fill the pores so that it becomes a pothole filler basically. So take that all over. Now our foundation primer has a little bit of sunscreen in it, so it's got a little SPF 15. And so then I'm going to move over to, I'm going to go ahead and use my slanted brush. And this will give you medium coverage foundation. So we've got a couple of different brushes. This is medium coverage. This is full coverage. This is sheer coverage. So, okay, little secret here. I've cut open my CC cream because it is almost out as well. So here's the really cool thing. So when you are almost out of your CC cream, or really any of our products that you can cut it open because there's still a lot of product left in there. When you cut it open though, that is your time. That's your clue. That's your cue to go ahead and call me to get your reorder. Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. So I just put some out on the back of my hand and use my brush. And so the CC cream does a few things for us. It's going to give me a little bit of coverage. It also gives some sunscreen as well. It's got a 15. And but one of the great things about the CC cream is it kind of plumps the skin up a little bit. And so that's the main reason I put my CC cream on, and it gives me extra hydration. And so hydration really keeps you from looking wrinkled and gives you that glowy, dewy look, which makes us look even younger. So that's a little bit of CC cream, and I'm going to layer that with our foundation. This is our luminous foundation, and we have a shade to match everyone. So if your foundation is pink on the back, that means it's luminous. If it is purple, that means it is a matte finish. And again, I'm just putting the product on the back of my hand. So one thing that you always want to avoid is don't squeeze your product directly into your brush, because the product gets down into the brush and makes it harder to clean, and you end up wasting a lot of product anyway. So put a little on the back of my hand, and I'm going to dip into it. So I want full coverage, so I'm using my full coverage brush. And I probably will have to use my mirror a little bit too, but you can see the coverage that is already happening with this. Yeah, I'm going to have to use my mirror just a little bit so I can actually see what I'm doing while I am working through this. So I'm just going to do half my face, and then I'm going to turn around here and show you and see if you can tell the difference. Can you see the difference? I've got a lot of, I'm sitting at my kitchen table. There's a lot of natural light where I'm sitting. So that was the whole goal, is to have as much natural light as I possibly could. So I'm going to put a little bit more foundation on the back of my hand, and I'm going to apply on the other side. This brush is super easy to use. It feels a little awkward at first, not even gonna lie to you, it kind of does. And of course you always want to blend down. Get my forehead really good. So just blend it in. So that's my first couple of steps. Okay, we're not done. All right, so I am gonna do a couple things here. I actually use 4 concealers. I know that's like way over the top. You don't have to do that. It's just me. I'm just like, I'm over the top when it comes to this. But I am going to mix 2 concealers together to conceal, do a little bit more concealing of my dark spots. I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. And it's going to create just the perfect shade for me. You probably would not need to do that, but it's just the perfect shade for me to, now I'll just blend these 2 together. The brush that I'm using here is actually our cream eyeshadow brush, but this brush you can use for so many different things. So we're just going to pat that into those target areas just to cover that up. Look at that. Amazing. It's already covering. Then on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. We'll pat that in. Cover up my nose. Now this is not something, I do this on the days that I'm leaving my house. If I'm not leaving my house, I'll just put on a little CC cream and call it a day. But if I'm leaving the house and I want to present myself as a professional Mary Kay consultant, then I put on full coverage. So I'm just going to pat this into place. By patting it, it's just going to keep it exactly where I want it. And you can see so much is already covered. Okay. Now then, I'm going to do a little under eye, and because we want to cover up the darkness. And most all of us have darkness around under the eye area. It's natural. I have a lot of sinus issues. So if you have sinus, it could be genetic. It could also be asthma. Just so many different things cause dark circles around lack of sleep, lack of hydration. Okay, so I'm using 2 concealers again. This one is an under eye corrector. It is specifically for the under eye area. I'm also mixing it with a light ivory concealer to really highlight my eye area. So again, I'm just going to take one little swab of each on the back of my hand. And it's like this. Now this brush that I am using, it's pretty much the same as our cream eyeshadow brush. We work with, I've been trained by Lori Hogg. She is a celebrity makeup artist. And this is actually one of her brushes that I fell in love with. But you can get the same effect with our cream eyeshadow brush. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this all the way down through here. I'm going to take it under the eye. I'm just kind of making a little V here. Same on this side. And you don't have to be so technical with it. We're just covering up that darkness around the eye area. And I always get too much out. So, don't use as much as I do. I'm a little heavy on the hand when it comes to those things. The other brush that I use, another brush that I use of Lori's, is this brush. It's the same as this brush in the Mary Kay line. And so I'm just going to blend that together. So you can see I've really highlighted this area. Really highlighted that area. But don't worry, it's all going to come together. It's all going to blend together. So at this point, I have started using our mineral powder foundation because it gives me another layer of coverage, and it's just something, I love the look of it. So again, I have another Lori Hogg brush. It's the same as this brush in the Mary Kay line. I use that brush for something else. So I'm just going to take my a little bit of mineral powder. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just you want to keep it super light, and I just kind of kind of stipple it onto my skin. I'll do a little bit more blending here in just a second. Just blend it in without really disturbing everything that you've already done. Okay, so now we've got our layers of foundation on. Again, if you do not have the issues that I have with the sun damage, you don't have to do all of that, but it is something that I like to do because it gives me the maximum amount of coverage. This is my best friend. This is our finishing spray. So I'm going to use the finishing spray a few times. Just take it all over. I like to fan myself off. Fan, let it dry a little bit. Okay, so that is the application for the foundation. But to really finish it off, I'm going to walk you all the way through my makeup application. And so then I move on to my eyebrows. That's the next step in my process. So I'm going to use a couple things. This is our Precision Eyebrow Pencil. This is a dark blonde. I always start like at the center of my brows. And I mean, I have to confess to you, I don't do a whole lot of maintenance on my brows because, well, I keep them just like a little bit plucked to keep the crazy ones at bay. But because of years of plucking and tweezing and waxing and threading, all of those things, my brows are just not as full. And sometimes that happens as we get more mature as well. It's a nice way of saying it, isn't it? So just kind of blend it in there. I'm going to go over to the other side, do the same thing. I'm taking it on the bottom, just the natural line of the lower lash or the lower brow. Same on the top. Mine needs to be filled in a little bit in this area because it just bumps down there for some strange reason. And typically you want your brows to come all the way out to this area. When I was a child, I was twirling a baton and I threw it in the air. One of the ends came off and it came down and caught me right there, and I've got a scar right there. And so I thought it would be a good idea to wax my brows back to that place, and now they won't grow past that. And when I color them in, you can definitely tell if I bring them out. So it is what it is. I just deal with what I have, and I just roll with it, and I hope that nobody notices that my brows do not come out as far as they're supposed to. I'm going to finish my brows with this guy right here. This is our volumizing brow tint, also in blonde. It's a dark blonde. You want your brows to be a little bit darker than your hair color, but not like extravagantly darker. You want it to look natural. My blonde is not my natural hair color. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Can you see my little roots? So, brows done. I just want them to look natural. Okay. All right. So we are going to, let me introduce you to my Pro palette. This baby is beautiful. There she is. You can tell the colors that I like the most. But I'm going to start with this brush. Now, let me just I'm going to use this brush right here. This is our cheek brush. This is our Mary Kay cheek brush. There's a little dent right there. And when you put your finger in that dent, it slants the brush down. And I'm going to use it to do a little contouring right here under my cheekbone. You see that? I'm not going to leave it like that. Same over here. I kind of blend it a little bit. I don't want it to be too crazy. We have a brand new little bronzing highlighter that I am absolutely in love with. This is a Mary Kay vintage cheek brush. I don't throw my brushes away. I just keep cleaning them because Mary Kay brushes are so amazing. So this is just going to give me a little bit of bronzing highlight on the tops of my cheekbones. And then if you want to just take it all the way around the perimeter kind of gives you more of the illusion of an oval face. Then I'm going to flip my brush around. So I was using it like this. Now I'm going to flip it around, and I'm just going to use the surface of it. And I'm going to do the apples of my cheek. Just the apples. That's what you want people to see, is the apples. To give your apples a little bit of shimmer, this is also a vintage Mary Kay brush. I use a little rose gold eyeshadow, rose gold eyeshadow on the apple of my cheeks. That is a Lori Hogg trick. There we go. Okay. So, using the same brush, I'm going to flip it over, or I'm going to actually continue to use it right down here at the bottom, and I'm going to do a little bit of highlight on the tops of my cheeks. Just a little highlight. Give me a little bit of shimmer at the tops of the cheeks. Now, before I finish, I'm kind of going to do some blending so it doesn't look so harsh everywhere. So don't worry, I'm not leaving it. I'm not going to be walking out here looking crazy. So, all right, now then for the eyes. This is one of my favorite things. I love eyeshadow. And so I'm going to start with just a matte eyeshadow all over. And this is one of my favorites. It's the Blossom, and I'm just going to take it all over. It's very, very easy. This color you don't have to be so careful with. And this is just going to give me my base, okay? All right, so we've got that. Then I'm going to go ahead and, so with my eyeshadow, I don't really follow the rules. I just kind of do what I want to do. But I will give you one rule of thumb. This is also a Lori Hogg brush. So when you are applying on the crease area, you want to keep it on the orbital bone. Because when you look at me, when someone looks at you, you want them to see that you have eyeshadow on. And I have a little bit of a hooded eye, especially on my right eye. So you want to keep your eyes open while you are applying right there at the crease. Because that way I can make sure I am getting it in the right place. See, we're right there on that orbital bone. But because I have a little bit of a hooded eye, if I closed my eye, I probably would not be able to see exactly. Okay, so this is my first color. Then I'm just going to take a brush and I'm going to blend. The key to eyeshadow is a couple keys. Don't be afraid of it. And layer and blend and layer and blend. That's all you have to do. The color that I just applied is one of my favorites. It's called Cinnabar. It's a nice matte, kind of a reddish brown. I absolutely love it. And then I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to use some Merlot eyeshadow out here at the corner, just to give me a little bit of definition. I have green eyes and green hazel. As you know, green hazel eyes, they change colors based on the color of eyeshadow you may have on or the clothes that you have on. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of depth out there at the corner, and then again, I'm going to blend. Now, eyeshadow is completely your personality and your comfort level. So, it's whatever you want it to be. So basically, my eyeshadow is almost done. I'm going to go back and I'm going to kind of fill in. And I'm going to use some shimmer, lighter color shimmer here on the lid of my eye. Because I have hooded eyes, look at the difference, you guys. I just put that shimmer on this eye versus this eye. It just opens your eyes up so much. So we're going to do that on the other eye as well. And I like to do it after I get my darker colors on. That way it also allows me to do a little cleanup as well. Okay, I'm going to use a little shimmer near the brows. Okay, and then you can do a little bit more blending just to make sure everything's going together really well. Okay, think about that. Okay, my hair's looking really cute today, isn't it? Oh well. All right, so next thing, eyeliner. top when it comes to eyeliner. But the great thing about makeup is we wash it off every night before we go to bed, and in the morning we start all over again. So whatever you're feeling that day, that's what you get to create. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use my spray again, my finishing spray. I'm going to do a little bit of fanning. I feel like the finishing spray also gives me some extra hydration as well. It gives me more of that glowy look, which I really want. So I'm going to use our regular eyeliner. I'm also going to use our gel liner. And the regular liner just gives me a little bit, I'm going to smudge it a little bit more. It's like my line to run on. If you're not using our eyeliner, I will tell you it's one of the best on the market. It is water proof. So when you cry or if you get in the water, as long as you don't do this. Same with our mascaras. You don't have to have a waterproof mascara unless you're planning on, just absolutely wiping your eyes if you get in the water. Okay, that's as far over as I'm going to take it. And I'm going to take one of my little brushes and I'm going to do a little bit of smudging. The great thing is, if you don't get it exactly perfect, when you put your mascara on, it kind of hides things. So we're smudging underneath. This is a little darker than this is. Don't worry, I'm going to fix that. And the thing also to remember, like with your eyebrows, with your eyes, whatever you're doing, just remember they are sisters. They are not twins, okay? And then my favorite eyeliner. Not even gonna lie to you, this is my favorite eyeliner. This is our gel eyeliner. Comes in a little tube or a little tub like this. It will last you forever. I do use it comes with a brush. I prefer a slanted brush. So like the brush that's on the end of this would work just perfectly fine. I chose to get one that is not. So I'm just bringing it in there. And you want to keep it clean. I don't do a cat eye for a couple of reasons. I'm not good at it, number one. And number two, I might be past the age of a cat eye. So that's probably the biggest reason. Just add a little bit over here. The thing that I love about this gel liner, it's easier to use than what you think it's going to be. Look how easy that went on, just barely touching. And, whoops, it's like using a Sharpie marker. So are our liquid eyeliners. They're like using a Sharpie marker. When you put it on, it is there to stay. If you want to, with this liner, you can go over it with like a little brush and add some eyeshadow to kind of set it as well. That's a completely optional step to take. Today, I am not going to do that for the sake of time. So next thing, this is critical, you guys. Getting this back out, getting this back out. This makes a huge difference. And a little bit of there. Gonna mix it with a little bit of this. About like that. Gonna get my brush out again. Gonna mix these two together. We're gonna do some cleanup. See? So I'm gonna go between my brows, cleaning that up, coming up here, giving that a more chiseled look, cleaning that up. I like for the center of my face to kind of be highlighted. And then I'm going to go underneath my eyes. It's going to clean up. You want to keep it clean there. Okay, you can see that. I'm going to do the same thing this eye. Take it on out there. It's going to make your eyes look farther apart, which is more pleasing to the eye. Okay? All right. So, I'm done. Just kidding. All right, so then I'm going to take my brush again, and I'm just going to blend it. Blend it out. So that's that. I'm not done yet. This sponge right here, now this is for sheer coverage, but I have also found that it is amazing at helping me just kind of set everything. You always want to make sure that it is it's damp. The really good thing about Mary Kay's blending sponge, if I were to cut this open today, it's going to be perfectly clean on the inside. It will not absorb your foundation or your concealer or whatever you're using, unlike most others. So I'm just going to kind of blend this a little bit. Okay, all right, so it's kind of blended. And then I'm going to give myself just a little bit more powder, mainly because I need to tone down these cheeks a little bit. This is where I use Mary Kay's mineral powder. I use a pressed powder to do this, and I'm just going to pat it in a little bit. I still have my glow, but it's helping me to blend everything, okay? All right, so almost done, you guys, almost done. Set that over there. Now we're going to do our lashes. I love our lash primer, just like everything else. Now, I don't use the eyelid primer. It is amazing. Everyone swears by it. However, I am allergic to it. I'm just one of those weirdos that can't use it. So, but I use primer for everything else. I use primer on my lips, primer on my face, primer on my lashes. And I wish I could use. Now we have a liquid eyeshadow that works as a primer, and I use that a lot. We have some brand new liquid eyeshadows. Oh, they are so fabulous. Okay. All right, so that's the lash primer. You can't see it going on. It's completely clear. And then we're going to use, I'm going to let share with you two of our mascaras. This is our Love Lash and our Love Lash Lengthening. I was blessed with a lot of amazing qualities, but lashes were not one of them, so I have to kind of work at it. We have the Ultimate Mascara and the Lash Intensity Mascara. I love both of those. But today, this is the one that we're using. So you can see my lashes a little bit. Again. Gotta have them to make them look. The reason I really love Love Lash is it really separates and lengthens my lashes. Next eye. If you get mascara on you, at least Mary Kay's mascara, if you get it on you, what you want to do is you just want to let it dry, and then you can just take your fingernail and it will just flake right off. If you touch it while it's wet, it's going to smear. So just let it dry, and then it will flake right off. This brush is a little different. Can you see that? This is the Love Lash Lengthening, and I love to pair these two together because they give me exactly what I'm looking for. Almost done, you guys. All right. So I did get a little bit right up there. So, there we go. I'll take a little Q-tip and clean that up. See? Can't even tell. All right. Okay, so hair is not fixed. I'll take it down, but definitely in bad shape right now because it's not had a flat iron to it this morning. But here it is, you guys. Here it is. I will put a little lip liner on and some lipstick, and so that way we've got our finished look. I've got my dewy look. I've got my spots covered up. One second, let me grab my lipstick. Red is my signature color. This is Stiletto Red. Well done. There you can see. Finished look, finished product. Still look dewy and completely finished. So I hope this helped. Sorry about the hair, but I hope this helped with a few application tips. Have a great day.